Okay, good day, guys. Good day to you all. Welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. The support, as always, is much appreciated. Seeing, knock up like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Both free and easy ways to support the channel. Seeing, free and easy ways to give the youth some strength. All right, people, my side, dump up aside yesterday, people. You see, yesterday's watch along was one of the best watch alongs I have ever done. The only other watch along when I can think of at the top of my head when I did have so much joy on that watch along as what I had on last night's watch along is the watch along with the reggae girls when the reggae girls did dump up man 9. Seen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my side a big side, Jamaica Reggae Boys versus Suriname Concacaf Nations League. Aye, the Reggae Boys 3. The Jamaica Reggae Boys 3. Suriname 1. Seen, by the way, knock up the like button for my Reggae Boys. Man. Knock up the like button for my Sky team. Trust me. A whole heap of joy me they have yesterday on the watch along, man. It was just such a good fight. And one of the reasons for that was because of the performance of the boys and basically how the game was going. Seeing um very good performance, very good performance. But before we get into the performance, I could talk a little bit about this. You see on your screen here, these are pictures from a car accident, ladies and gentlemen. Now you guys may be wondering why is Formula showing this. Some of you may know, some of you may not know. But Leon Bailey's family was involved in a car accident yesterday evening. And these pictures were posted on the Instagram story of his wife. Seen, the caption reads, honestly not posting for sympathy, but to say that God is real. He spared our lives yesterday and I'm forever grateful. I will never take it for granted. I will continue to sing about how awesome of a God he is. We came out with a few bruises and my son came out with none. Thank God we are alive. This is our testimony. Be safe. We're sending a lot of love and a lot of positive energy the way of the Bailey family. I was a little bit critical of Leon Bailey's substitute performance yesterday. I wasn't really harsh on the player, but I just say, Bailey no look sharp, Bailey no look this, Bailey no look that. We never really beat him. We never beat him, to be honest, because he did come on and put a shift. But you see why sometimes it's important for us to be a little bit reserved in our criticisms. I'm a beat JFF2 at the beginning of the stream because I say, yo, how is it that Leon Bailey, we saw him coming on, but we never see him in the match day squad that was posted on Instagram, on the JFF Instagram page. You see why sometimes it's best to be reserved, because we can look at the context and say, boy, we have seen this sort of foolishness on the JFF before. We're getting the match day squad information wrong is concerned, and the ones that they publish getting it wrong. But we see what happened yesterday. The baller had to leave. Big shout out to the baller. We don't even know, like, who would even really feel no way if he never play. Probably it was probably best if never even play. But big shout out to him still for feeling the need. And guys, nobody can question Bailey patriotism or love for country again. Guys, I wouldn't even wish a car accident for my worst enemy. Or the family I'm worst enemy. Big shout out for Leon Bailey. He has really stepped up over the last couple of days where half the field is concerned for the Jamaican national team. And we have to send a whole heap of hailings and respect Bailey way. And also thank Father God to the Bailey family, alright. Alright, we're gonna get into the Suriname versus Jamaica reviewing. Hold on the ladies and gentlemen. Hold on the ladies and watch this.
Ravel!
Big baller. Big baller. Call me Ravel. Big baller. Yo. It's if the man step up to take the free kick, people. You know, when you just have a feeling. You ever watch a game and you see a man step up to take a free kick and you just have a feeling like like you just feel it. Say that free kick you go stitch it back or anything of people. But you just have that feeling upon the watch a lot. Seeing for starters, want to wish also Richard King a speedy recovery. The young centre back would have come off injured in the game. Hoping that because he's now a key and vital element going forward, you know. We can't deny that. A series of, I mean, young still has much to learn, but you know, a whole heap of potential. So we have to wish Richard King a speedy recovery. Good to see Rolando Aarons. This is a player that years we are called for that player, probably close to a decade. Finally, he has arrived, made his debut last night. Also, good to see the likes of Shamar Nicholson, Bell, and Jamal Lowe return. Jamal Lowe had an okay game. Bell had a good game. Nicholson, I was a little bit disappointed in Shamar Nicholson. I've seen better performances from him both for club and for country. Guys, with that being said, a very good performance, generally speaking, from the Reggae Boyz. Very, very, very good performance. Seeing we controlled the game for most of the game. We managed the game very well. But you know what I think? I think the Reggae Boyz had a massive load that was taken off their shoulders with the resignation of this particular individual on your screen. Yo, people, me think say, yo, the Reggae Boyz just set a bomb and go out there and ball because they must say, free at last, thank God Almighty, they're free at last. Guys, initially, I mean, basically, from the start of the game, we took control of the game. Seeing Suriname had some moments in the first half where they tried to catch us on the counter. You know, some players would have broken down in midfield on our part. Suriname won the ball and tried to play either a one-time through pass through a gap in our defense to find a runner in behind or a ball over the top, which is what they used to actually score the goal on us. Seeing? So there are some 1 and 2 moments on the counter in the first half, but apart from that, for most of this game, initially probably the first 10 minutes there was a little battle going on. We had the upper hand, but we didn't have full control. But as the game progressed, we gained further and further control of the football game. You know, push pedal to the metal. See, I think that's what the saying go. And just as they just grew into the game, you know, found our rhythm as the game progressed. Like probably midway the first half, we just had complete control of the football game. Complete control of the football game. As I said, Suriname had 1 and 2 moments in probably the first 20-25 minutes. But, you know, from early in the game, we just took complete control. Ravel got the free kick. Ravel being the maestro that he stepped up, knocked up the back of the net. Big shout out to the big maestro, Ravel Morrison. Seeing, you know, the ball over the top on a counter attack, in attacking transition, Suriname would have equalized through a player by the name of Wilshot, I think is how you pronounce it. He plays his football, if I'm not mistaken, in Israel right now. He's a player that has won the Israeli League in Europe. He gave them the equalizer. Seen, and you know, this particular individual, Junior Fleming, stepped up to give us, you know, to give us back the lead, so to speak. Seen, and then Jamal Lowe would have put the icing on the cake and gave us the insurance policy. Seen, I love the pressing. I love the pressing. I love the intensity. Seeing we won, especially for large portions of the game, we pressed them very high and we kept them pinned into their own half. The little joy they received was on the counter, and we have to do better in defensive transition as well, ladies and gentlemen. That's been a little, because even the few moments that they had in attacking transition, we looked a little bit vulnerable sometimes, and the goal came obviously, but we pressed them high up the pitch, won the ball in their half, kept them for large portions of the game pending to their own half. Seeing, won the ball in dangerous positions, right, where we even had numerical advantages that we exploited, like for instance on the third goal that Jamal Lowe would have scored. Won the ball high up the pitch, dangerous position. I think we're out in a dangerous position. We won it. I think we outnumbered them 4-3 on that particular play when we won the ball, and some nice intricate passing and movement, would have led to an easy, basically, tapping for Jamal Lowe. I love the fact also that even when the Surinamese evaded our front press, we got very close to them in the middle of the park. We never gave their players a lot of time and space on the ball. And I think that is very, very important, and that helped us to really and truly seize control of this particular game, right? And I must give the boys props. The intensity was much better this time around than it was in the last game. And it's probably understandable given the bag of arms that was leading into the last game. I think that they were for the most part, Suriname kind of sat in a mid to low block scene, and even there were 1 and 2 times when they probably tried to get close to us and probably tried to press us, but we did very well to play out of that pressure. There was some occasions where they tried to counter press, and we did very well. When they lost the ball, they tried to counter press, and for the most part, we did very well in playing out of that pressure. Seeing some of the tweaks that I particularly saw in this particular game, the midfield looked a lot better in this particular game. I'll tell you why. One, the inclusion or the re-inclusion, so to speak, of this particular fella on your screen, the maestro. Guys, we need a backup to Ravel Morrison. We need another player in our squad who can do what Ravel Morrison can do. We don't have that currently. And not even Maggie, right? And I'll probably explain that in another video, because yes, there's overlap between the two players in terms of the type of players that they are, but there are things. Ravel can play number 8 and number 10 seamlessly. Maggie is just a number 10 basically from what I have seen. He's not really that type of person that can control the game from a deeper line pivot position. Seeing that's Maggie. But yeah, so the midfield looked a lot better. Obviously Ravel was included, but I'll tell you one other thing that made the midfield work a lot better. The role that Kevin Lambert had in the first Suriname game, that particular role was different in this particular game. Lambert was not tasked with the responsibility of kick-starting attacks. So in attacking transition, he was not the first pivot that received the ball from the backline. It was Speedy in this particular game. The last particular game that we played against Suriname, Kevin Lambert was the one tasked with kick-starting our attacks. And in my honest opinion, by the way, Lambert did better this time around because of the change role. He got a role that was more suitable to his style. And the last game, he was just basically killing the attacks because he's not a ball-playing CDM. Seeing, Speedy is obviously a better ball-playing option. Seeing, so, Lambert was basically stifling the attacks in the last game. In terms of kickstarting the attacks, he was not very good at it at all. In this particular game in attacking transition, Speedy the deeper line pivot, and Lambert playing a little bit higher in attacking transition to be a link man to Speedy and for Speedy to play off of. And that was very important. The last game, it was the other way around. But, obviously in defensive transition in this particular game, obviously Lambert would be the deeper line pivot to shield the back line, and Speed be the higher, line pivot in the defensive transitional side of things. So that was also a major factor why the performance of the midfield was much improved in this particular game. But all in all, high intensity, high pressure. The boys looked happy. The boys were in rhythm. The boys were flowing. They came out there, or they went out there last night to step on the necks of Suriname and cut off the air supply. And they did just that. They stifled the Surinamese, and they did well, closing them down in the middle of the park. And their top creative players, Joseph Soon and also Bizeswar, the Reggae Boyz, shut them down. Bizeswar had his few occasions in the first half where he might try a little thing, and he might try to take control of the game for Suriname. As the game progressed, the Reggae Boyz shut him down. What else we talking about? Junior Flemings. People, we have to talk about Junior Flemings, Junior Flemings bald. Guys, is it Toulouse or is it Paul Hall? Because we know Toulouse was working on this particular player to help develop his game, Is it Toulouse or is it Paul Hall, or is it a combination of both? All the 3 times that Junior Flemings has played under the tutelage of Paul Hall, he has looked really good. We have to give props and credit where credit is due. We have to talk about this brother here too, Ravel Morrison. Who was the man of the match, guys, between Ravel and Flemmer? Boy, I don't know. Ravel Morrison, bald. Ravel Morrison looks happy in the Jamaican Reggae Boyz setup. When they talk about a creative spark in midfield. One of the things that kind of limited Ravel Morrison's creativity in yesterday's game, I'll tell you what it was. Shamar Nichols. Guys, Boza never had a good game yesterday. His movement was not the best. And I think that kind of, to some extent, stifled Ravel Morrison. The movement was not as dynamic as it should be. But with that being said, Ravel still back. Very good linkman in the middle of the park and showed a lot of creativity as well. What else we want to talk about? Oh, a lot of interchanging in the game as well, Interchanging between wingers, winger and winger. Interchanging between wingers and midfielders. Guys, it was a good performance from the Reggae Boyz. One thing I'll criticize though, the right side of our defense, in terms of the starting right side of our defense, was inexperienced. Javian Brown, Richard King was on the right side of the defense. That kind of inexperience helped to cause the first goal. Immediately as the goal was scored, Paul Hall switched Richard King and Damian Lowe around, had Damian Lowe playing at right centre back and had Richard King playing at left centre back. So you had Amari Bell being the experienced one on the left side of the defense, and Damian Lowe being the experienced one on the right side of the defense. That was probably a mistake that Paul Hall made, that he probably should have foreseen, that he should have, yes, give him credit, he switched it, but by that time it was too late. The goal was already scored. But we have to give credit where credit is due. The team played very well for the most part. For the most part, almost everybody played well. And the only thing is that we never got the clean sheet. We never get the clean sheet. But apart from that, it was pure positive energy, positive performances. Amal Knight did well also. I was a little bit concerned. He made that big mistake down in Suriname, but he held his own tonight. And one thing we have to give Knight props on. He have the occasional mistake, some will say, but his distribution is very good. His distribution is very good. Seen, but we really took charge of this particular game against Suriname. Seen and we really took charge of the game. Suriname had that one moment of joy where they took advantage of our high line, in defense, and played the ball over the top. But apart from that, really and truly, Suriname didn't do anything much. So, guys, that's my 2 cents. Take care, guys. Stay safe, and until next time. And we're happy to see the Reggae Boyz performing well. I will hope that this continues going forward. Seen? Cool.